Going on, people? Today I'm going to do a quick video for you guys just to highlight 5 points I look for when I'm viewing old properties. Now these are particularly either terraced houses or semi-detached. This is my 10th year in property now, so over time you look for just little small things that the agent might not even see. Sometimes even the surveyor might not even pick the tiniest of details. So these are the main points I will try and look for. It'll save you money in the future, and you can maybe negotiate on these points as well, especially if you take photos and send them to an estate agent when you're putting the offer forward. So yeah, let's get at it. So yeah, one of the first things I always look for is signs of dampness. Now this is new brickwork, but here you can see they've put in a new damp-proof membrane. You can actually see some of the dampness under the damp-proof membrane. This where the mortar's coming away, that's the water and the mortar sort of crumbling over time, which it is designed to, but you want to look carefully at the brickwork. See if there is a damp-proof course. How is it? Is it crumbling? Will it need sort of any is it allowing moisture to come in to the property? And then look at the walls particularly. Like I know, for example, in this one, this is one of mine, I have damp proofed the wall, but this one I didn't bother to because it's just under a set of stairs. Now another telltale sign is of course mold spots, but in this instance here where I've painted, I put some damp proof paint over it just because it's a very small area. It's almost there wasn't really heavy penetration coming through, but where you've got a lot of moisture, sometimes there'll be mold coming over here, this sort of area here. And then another telltale sign is when the paint is crumbling, or when you for example, if you're viewing property, sometimes it'll be coming off here, and then if you scraped it, it's really soft, or if you just feel the walls, it'll be moist. Now you can get the damp protimeters on eBay for about 15-20 quid. Some people say they're accurate and some people disagree with them, but usually all I do, I go to the front of the property and I just run my hand over the wall like this, and usually you can just feel if it's moist. If it's really moist, the paint will just come off in your hands almost. But these are little signs for dampness. Now all old properties do have little bits of dampness here and there. The main concern is when it's sort of heavy within the property. It's going to be a costly job for you. If you've got sort of dampness in the upper floor, usually it stems from sort of gutters or roofing issues, which again, I'd take photos of it and just speak to the agent, maybe get some quotes, especially if you're buying a property. You want these things resolved because in my experience with old properties, they can just go on and on and on, and it ends up costing you a lot of money if you haven't budgeted for it. So I'd have a very good look at the mortar, the brickwork. Has the previous seller just tried to one lick, give it a fresh new coat of paint to hide the dampness, which is very common when people are trying to get rid. How big is the issue? A lot of the dampness can just be in small confined areas like this one. You can sort of see a bit here, but it's not. I've had this property since I think 2018, so it's not really causing many issues. It's just a bit of discoloration and a bit of moisture. Whereas where it's heavy and it's covering every room in the house, then it's going to cause you a real headache. So yeah, that's my very first point with regards to dampness. A third point of mine is to look at the brickwork, specifically on the walls. I'm looking for any telltale signs of cracks. Is the brickwork moving? Is there movement in the property? What I've had, especially with old properties, is where people have the property's been moving, so they've got someone to fix up the cracks, but it's very well hidden. And then it takes a really good eye to see where the cracks are hidden. And again, this one's a mid-terrace, so it's not so bad, but especially on like semis or even fully detached properties, it can cause long-term problems in the structure. If you're going to own the property for 5 to 10 years or even 20 years, eventually over time, the property could be moving, and it can cause you a lot of damage in the future. So have a very good look. I mean, worst case, get a builder or a surveyor to, you know, put a trained eye to it. But if you haven't got the budget, you know, look very carefully at the brickwork, just to make sure that there's you know, not crazy movement with the property. Tip number 3 is to bring a pair of ladders to your viewings and stick your head in the attic. Now this was one that I purchased a while back, and I hadn't stuck my head in the attic, but it actually had a hole there right in the middle and on the left at the top. There has been some brickwork done from the council grants in 1996, as you can see those new bricks. There's been a hole for years. Now in another property that I purchased, had an even bigger hole, and I had to re-brick it all like this one. But you know, there could be a serious you know, problem one day where the wall just collapses. I don't know why the hole was left, but these are the things that you can find in the attic, and it's going to be you as the buyer or the renovator that actually has to you know, fix these issues. A second one is the beams. Now this one I didn't know about, but it had a leak. Every time it rains for like 3 or 4 days, it has a leak on the sort of wood there. I have had a roofer now to fix it, who's inspected the joists and said it's all right. But in other properties I've had, there's been holes in, or sorry, other properties that I've viewed, there's been holes in the roof, you know, missing slates, missing tiles. You can't always see this from outside. So the best thing you can do, bring a pair of step ladders or long ladders. Ask the agent if you can stick your head in the attic. I know a surveyor will do this for you, or they should do if you're getting a full survey. But you can save yourself money and time by you know, having a good look at the roof, the brickwork, and again, if there is some issues to be solved, you can go back with photos, negotiate on the price, or just pull out if it's terrible. But it's a golden rule for me now when viewing houses. It's maybe not so much brand new properties, but in general, old properties like this come with problems. So it's a must to stick your head in the attic. So a fourth thing to look at is the pipe work. Now this might sound stupid to you guys. Why do we look at pipe work? Now I'm a recently qualified plumber, so I've renewed some of this, but often when I'm viewing properties, I look at the pipe work, and you know, first time buyers, you might think, oh great, you know, the sink looks nice, the kitchen looks nice, but when I look at the pipe work and all the joins, you get cowboy plumbers. They'll put in plastic, push fit stuff. It might be ancient, you know. And when you're looking under your bathroom sinks, your kitchen sinks, or even the external pipe work, often it can be either really bodged jobs or just, you know, it's about to go. It's been fitted 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you know, it could cause you either leaks, floods, or when it's just old and bodged. What you get is, if you're a landlord and you're going to rent out the property, or if it's your own property, is just lots of problems, lots of headaches. You're going to have to renew all this pipe work in the future. That's a cost to you. You know, a plumber nowadays, when I get my agent to on a call out, it's minimum about 100 to 150 quid. And that's just for a quick repair. If you're going to have to replace some of these pipes, which I've done, like this one, you're talking hundreds. And it all adds up, especially when you're doing, you know, having to put in new bathrooms, or change lots of the pipe work. So just have a good look when you're viewing a property. You want to cost it all in. You know, agents are very pushy on getting the best price. But at the end of the day, it's going to cost you money. You know, you want to look at even the fittings, but I put in these isolation valves on every tap, just so at least, you know, for example, if the stopcock seizes up, you can't fix a leaking tap, you've got an isolation valve to just turn it off. You can do it that way. Plenty of plumbers I see don't put any of this stuff in. So, you know, there's no way to isolate certain supplies. But there's loads of little things like this. I just have a good look, you know, again, in the long run, it will save you time, stress, and money. So one of the fifth and final things I will look for is central heating pipe work, specifically the radiator pipes and also the radiators themselves. Now this particular property had all new radiators installed when I'd bought the property, but yeah, if they're very old radiators, and especially if this is 10mm micro bore pipe, but you also get 8mm, which is very small. And the reason why I look at this, and especially the radiators, is usually they'll need swapping out. An 8mm micro bore pipe is prone to clogging, so it's usually you'll need to flush the system out to clean it, or you'll need to replace it in 15mm pipe. And to repipe a whole house, depending on the size of the house, can start anywhere from 1,500 quid all the way up to about £3,000, especially if it's a big Victorian house. So it's another thing to look out for. It's going to cost you more in the long term, especially if it's very old pipe work or very old radiators. It's just another one to add. And often, especially when it's a tired property or a landlord property, there might be leaks in the system that you've got to either find yourself or pay someone to try and find and fix the problems.